Live from LA, I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
Morning, Jenny. How are you?
I got no trash talk today until after we talk about what happened again in Minnesota.
Gotcha.
I think the weight of what is happening in Minnesota is affecting all of us this morning, and we are going to talk about it. So let's do our best right now. Yesterday, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Twins, and Wild all postponed their games following the protests and aftermath of the police shooting of 20-year-old black man Daunte Wright in the Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center during a traffic stop. The officer that fired the gun has since been placed on administrative leave while the shooting is being investigated. Greg Popovich and Doc Rivers both spoke about the situation yesterday. Take a listen.
How many times does it have to happen? And, you know, as sick to our stomachs as we might feel, you know, that individual's dead. He's dead. And his family is grieving, and his friends are grieving. And we just keep moving on as if nothing's happening.
Frustrating, as it should be for. No, I think we got to stop saying it's frustrating for all Black Americans. I think we should be frustrated by all Americans. You know, I don't know if it was a mistake or not. I saw the video, the body cam video like everyone else. But I just know the frustration is a real thing for everybody and for us.
Shannon, what is your reaction to all of this?
Doc is absolutely right, Skip. It should not be just frustration on one side, the side that feel like they're being victims, but all Americans should be outraged. Ben Franklin once said, it's only going to change when the people that are unaffected are equally as impacted as those that are.
Yep.
And because it seems to continuously happen to one group and not another group, therefore it seems nothing gets done. Skip, I believe the postponement of these games was the only right call to make.
Yep.
We saw what happened earlier this year, what happened in Kenosha. And the Buck says, nah, we're not going to take the floor. And it's almost like, Skip, the Twin Cities are still grieving George Floyd. And not even a year later, we have this. Now, the George Floyd trial, the Derek Chauvin trial is happening right now. Skip, they interrupt the trial to tell you just this happened. You're like, really? You would think, if I'm not mistaken, the town that this happened in is about 11 miles. If I'm reading correctly, it's about 11.
Less than 10.
Yes.
It's just a suburb just to the north.
A hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You would think that the police would even be more cautious, but they're not. Skip, and accident or not, as Greg Popovich said, the guy's just as dead. For you to mistake, she's yelling, taser, taser, and for her not to know the difference after being on the force for 26 years, the difference between a taser grip and a pistol, a live pistol grip, is something that's unforgivable. You can't make that mistake, Skip. You talk about life or death. I let my shopping cart go, Skip, and it runs into your car, you got a scratch. That's an accident. You don't die. Nobody dies. You make a mistake as a police officer. It almost reminds you of the Oscar Grant situation that happened at Fruitvale Station. They did a story on it, Skip. The officer thought he was tasing him. He'd end up shooting him in the back and killing him.
Yep.
He just is dead. You told me it was an accident. You've been on the force for 26 years, and you still don't know the difference between a taser and a pistol. It's just so sad, Skip. It is so sad. I get it. And you say he had an expired tag. You had reason to stop him. He had air freshener dangling from his rear view. That's a violation. You're not supposed to have anything. I get all that. But Skip.
The police said it was just the expired registration.
Registration.
That's why they decided first to pull him over.
Pull him over.
Yeah.
But the level of force. Skip, I see if you're a serial rapist or he's, wanted for, 2 or 3 murders. Skip, it really expired registration?
Yeah.
Air freshener hanging from his, a gross misdemeanor? And I don't know how true this is, Skip. I read where it said that he was supposed to appear in court. They sent the Zoom to the wrong address. He didn't get it. Allegedly, he didn't get it. But the level of force that these officers use, why would you even need a taser in a situation like that? And for you not to know that I have a live, Skip, I have my service revolver. I drew my service revolver on a guy for expired registration. Not a murderer, not a rapist. An expired registration for someone to draw their service revolver.
Yeah.
That's just, it's just sad. Minnesota, it just seems it can't catch a break. George Floyd is not even, as I said, not even a year old. And then this young man, 20 years of age, lost his life.
Yep.
But I'm glad for the Minnesota, the Twins, the Timberwolves. I think the Wild, I think that's the other hockey team, postponed their game, Skip. I think it was the only right thing to do.
I agree.
And I think we're in a different climate now, Skip. You covered this game a lot longer than I played it, and I've been following this game. It's a new era. It's the dawn of a new era. Guys and women are no longer going to sit back and because what they realize is that, hold on, I'm a part of this community. Guess what? The Timberwolves, some of them might live in this area. The Wild, the Twins, some of them might live in, oh, look, this is my community. I'm not exempt from this, and especially if you're black. So kudos to the Timberwolves, but this is it's just sad. It's so sad, and I'm at a loss for words, Skip. I don't really know what else to say because it doesn't seem like it's stopping. I thought it was going to be some changes, but what's going to change it, Skip, is that these settlements start coming out of the police pension. That $27 million that the city had to pay George Floyd family, that needs to come out of the police pension. Yeah. So moving forward, anytime there's a suit and the city has to settle, that needs to come out of the police pension. And that's the only way that's going to stop this. Because, Skip, as long as somebody's having to foot the bill, you're going to be as reckless and egregious if you care, because it don't cost you anything. More times than not, they kick the trash down the road. He goes to another department, gets another job.
Okay. Back to what we just saw Doc say. And what you echoed, I echo, in that I can't feel about this exactly the way you do, because I just can't. But I can feel the way I feel. And it makes me sick and outraged all at once, because it is so deeply disturbing that it happened again on the very day that George Floyd's relatives were testifying on his behalf in the Derek Chauvin trial. The very day. I couldn't make this up. And this is the first time when I woke up this morning, it makes me so sick. I didn't really want to talk about it, but it's what we do here. It's just what we do. And so I just tried to dredge it back up. And quickly, to your sports point, the little tiny way that I'm feeling, I get the way the athletes, the professional athletes are feeling, who are so deeply affected in different personal ways, especially in the Minneapolis area, where it's not about protesting what happened. It's just about, I just don't feel like playing.
Right.
There have been many times in my career, dating back to 9/11, when I said the professional athletes need to provide the brief respite that they are so great at providing. Just go ahead and play the games, because we need some escape from this.
Because, Skip, Pete Rozelle said his greatest mistake is that he didn't cancel the game with the assassination of President Kennedy.
Okay.
Because the same thing you said, he felt America needed an escape.
I got it. But this is so different, because this can deeply affect, especially obviously the black players involved with all these teams. Maybe the white players too are just so disturbed that you just don't feel like you can function for a game. And so you postpone, and I got zero problem with that.
Zero.
Happened all the way up to New York to the Yankees. Aaron Boone said after the game, I've got no problem, because he just felt like he could not go tonight.
Right.
Okay, got that. So just briefly, just for the sake of discussion, I'm going to walk us back through what allegedly happened here to Daunte Wright as he was driving at age 20 as a 2-year-old child. He was driving with his girlfriend in a car that his parents had provided him a couple of weeks back. And according to the police, it had an expired registration.
Correct.
Again, I'm telling you what they said.
Right.
I don't know exactly what happened. And the first story I read said that Daunte Wright called his mom and said, uh-oh, as you would do.
Right.
We talked about the talk.
Correct.
that every black parent has to have
Right.
in this day and age with black children.
Yeah, I can assure you, Skip, not very many white kids are calling their parents if they get pulled over by the police.
Totally with you. And he decided to continue to drive for a while to get to a more public venue.
Correct.
Where you don't just pull over on a side street where there aren't a lot of witnesses.
Correct.
So he continues to drive, and I don't know if that gave them more time to run the plates or whatever, but they see that, oh, hold on just a second, there is an outstanding warrant for his arrest stemming from this missed hearing that you talked about. I don't know if it's a missed Zoom hearing or whatever, on a misdemeanor gun charge, facing 2 misdemeanor charges after Minneapolis police said he had carried a pistol without a permit and then he had run from the officers. Okay, so that's outstanding. So now we have the circumstance of that.
Right.
So they decide that as he pulls over, we have to arrest him because there's a warrant for his arrest.
Correct.
So they call for another backup car. So now you have 3 officers involved. The first 2 go to driver's side, passenger side. He gets out for a moment. You can see on the video, I'm sure you've watched the video probably more than once. And then the female officer